Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. Today I wanted to share our quarter two homeschool update. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sarah and I'm a homeschooling mom to two girls, ages 10 and almost 14. So Lydia is in the 5th grade and Bella is in the 8th grade. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by once again. I do really appreciate you. So, second quarter. Let's just say, second quarter went better than first quarter this year. First quarter, I did do an update video on our first quarter and there was just, you know, something after something just happening in first quarter that kind of messed with our homeschool. But second quarter went really, really well. Yes, there's a lot of holidays and, you know, everything going on and it's hectic, but it was a really good, fun homeschooling quarter. So quarter two was very successful. I also wanted to share what's working for my kids and also some of the things that we did change in quarter two or things that I'm stopping now that we're done with quarter two and moving into something else for quarter three. So I will be sharing that as well in this video. I do want to say, second and third quarter, when it comes to homeschooling for me, are the most challenging. So I feel like this year it's been opposite. Like most of the years, first quarter, I'm ready to go. I'm pumped, and everything is just so great and new and fresh, and we get our routine, and you feel like a superhero first quarter. At least I did for many years. And this year it was just not like that. So second quarter, I felt like that superwoman, feeling. But going into third quarter this year, I do kind of feel a little stressed. January is usually the time that I start to feel that I need to start planning for next school year, which I know might seem kind of early for some, but it's pretty much when I start thinking about it, when I start taking notes about it, when I start looking into new things. And with Bella being in the 8th grade this year and going into 9th grade next year, I feel like I'm in just, a new territory, a new season of homeschooling that I've never experienced before. So I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I don't even know if you could call it uncomfortable. I feel like changes are coming once again. And if you're a homeschooling parent, you know that changes happen all the time, but this one is different. It's different this time. With her going into high school, I'm starting to feel that my time is limited, if that makes sense. I'm starting to feel like my time is limited, and it just really hit me at the end of quarter two. It really, emotional. I was emotional about quarter two ending this year. And I think it's just because Bella's going to be 14 in just 2 weeks, and she's going to be going into the 9th grade in August. When did that happen? But anyway, I'm getting rambly, and let's just talk about quarter two updates, not about my emotional and stressful feelings about quarter two. So for Bella, my 8th grader, things went great for her in second quarter. I felt like she had a really good understanding of everything that she wanted to do. Her planning that she's been doing for her own school has been going really, really great. And curriculum-wise, for math, she was using Math U See Pre Algebra. This is still going great. We're not going to change a thing into third quarter. She did come across a couple of things that were a challenge. So there was, I think, 1 or 2, I guess you could call them like little units or weekly concepts that she did do more than once. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with her having to redo things to really understand the concept. So I think it only happened twice though, but still, this is still working out really, really great. We're going to continue this. Now for language arts, this is probably going to be the biggest change for Bella in third quarter, because she was working through language arts and literature level 7 through the good and the beautiful. Well, this is the last language arts course book. Level 8 is book studies. And I did get her some book studies. I'll share those with you in a minute, but she loved this. She was a little bit bummed when she finished it out because now she has to go into something new when she was so comfortable and confident in this way of teaching. So she did finish this up during second quarter. She did finish this up in second quarter. So we're saying goodbye to the Good and the Beautiful level 7. And we're going to be moving into something else. Now, another thing that she was using with this is she was using Harry Potter's Hogwarts Homework Cursive Handwriting Practice Book just for practicing cursive. So she was using this with language arts. And then she was also using Vocabulary Builder Word Search for kids ages 11 through 13. Okay, so she was using this one as well. So all of this in first and second quarter was language arts for her. And it worked great. But this book she completed. So she has no more handwriting for the entire school year. She also, like I was saying, she completed this one. So this one's done. And this one, we found that it started to get dry. So I love the concept of this book. It's a word search. And those are your words. So basically you find your words in your word search and then you write your words with a definition on this page. So it's really great. I thought it's great. She has practice, you know, using a dictionary, it's vocabulary, but it just isn't working anymore for her. So she did stop this during second semester and we moved her into a brand new vocabulary book. So let's, I guess, start there. So for vocabulary for language arts, she is now going to be using this book here, and she has really been liking it. And I've noticed her actually using a lot of the words from this vocabulary book. I just feel like this, this style for her is making the words kind of stick. So we did move her into this one. She's loving it so far, but this is middle school vocabulary for academic success. And it's just like little worksheets. You know, they give her words, she does little worksheets about the words, and that's what's working for her, and that's what she likes. So this is what she's going to be doing for vocabulary. Now, when it comes to language arts, again, because she finished her level 7, I did pick up 2 different The Good and the Beautiful level 8 book studies. I don't know if she'll get through both of them. She said that she wants to start with Wild Like the Foxes. So you get this book, and this is pretty much her language arts. She reads this book, and then she does, you know, a lesson out of this book. When I first bought this, I thought, oh, great. It's going to be very similar to what she was doing before. But in this book study, it covers writing, spelling, grammar usage, and punctuation, geography, literature, and art. When I read that this was covering writing, I was expecting a little bit more, I think, when it came to writing. So when I received this and I was going through it, I felt like it didn't really go over the different structures of writing enough. So I decided to add something in to go with this. We are going to be using, and again, I'm piecing things together myself because this is only for second semester. So third and fourth quarter, if it works, you know, we'll continue it into fourth quarter. But I don't know. Like, I mean, if your kids have ever done one of these, let me know how you feel about this in the comment section. I don't know. There's something about it that I just feel like I love the idea for spelling, grammar, you know, reading comprehension, geography, art. I love all of that in here, but the writing just didn't seem enough for what I was looking for. It was a lot different when it came from when we did this. So they're telling her to write essays and stories and all this stuff into this, where I didn't notice much of that. So I don't know. Let me know how you feel. If your kids have ever done this, let me know how you feel. But I pieced together some stuff because I just didn't feel like this was going to be enough. So she will do, like I said, this vocabulary book, and then she will do this book study, which I'm kind of counting more for like grammar and reading comprehension, and like punctuation and stuff. But then I also picked up this how to write a paragraph book. It's like a workbook for grades 6 through 8. Bella never really needed too much help when it came to language arts. Reading, writing, it all came pretty easy to her. So I don't feel like she needs like extra practice. I just want any I don't know, I just want any holes or gaps that may be there in her writing to be worked on before she goes into high school, if that makes sense. So I didn't want to just let writing go for the rest of the year. So I did pick up this one, and I wanted to go back all the way to the basics. That's why I started with how to write a paragraph. I also picked up how to write an essay. I'll insert a picture because it's not here yet. But I'm going to have her start with this one and slowly work her way into the how to write an essay. And it's not that she doesn't know how. Like I was saying, it's just because if there's any gaps or anything like that in how to structure a piece of writing, I want that to be filled in before she starts high school. So again, this is a very basic like workbook, but I think that it's going to be just enough, and I think it's going to be what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that with these 3 things all together, it's going to make up a pretty decent language arts for her. Again, it's only for second semester, so I'm crossing my fingers that this works. I don't know. If you have any tips about like a basic writing guide, leave it in the comment section, because I am looking for stuff like that, and I feel like I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed with how much I've been looking at. So if you know one that you love, let me know. Okay, so, oh, and also with her writing the book study, I forgot to mention, they recommended this book. This is also through The Good and the Beautiful, and it's grammar and writing guide. I don't know if this is where the writing comes in more. It just looked more like help to me, so I don't know. But she does have this as well, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, she's going to start with Wild Like the Foxes, and if she has time, she will move into their Abraham Lincoln book study. So she picked out both of these, so we'll see. Again, I don't know. This is all up in the air at this point, but I'm crossing my fingers that this works for her and we're happy with it. Now, when it comes to history, during second semester, I feel like my notes. I feel like BookShark's Level I American History was just superb. During first, did I say semester? I meant second quarter. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. So during second quarter, I felt like this was a really, really great curriculum. I noticed her talking about things that she was learning about throughout American history, and us having good conversations and things like that. So I'm very happy with this program. It is extremely thorough, and it is a long course. So in quarter 1, she did this exactly the way that she was supposed to do it according to the way it was written and the way that the curriculum is made up. Second quarter, we changed it. We cut out the map work and the timeline work because it was just taking her way too long. This was taking her over an hour a day to complete just her history lesson, and she still had all of her other lessons. That was just not something that I was comfortable with, or her, when she didn't feel like she was getting anything much out of the map work and the timeline work. Bella's never really struggled with, understanding different concepts throughout history, or different time frames, because sometimes I know that visual aid of the timeline can really help you see what came first. Bella never had issues with that, so I just cut it out. So we cut out map work and timeline, and she's loving this. Now for science, she is still using BookShark Science G, and she's loving it. So I did mention in my first quarter update that she did not like the science experiments. Guess what? In quarter 2, she still doesn't. So she does not like the science experiments throughout quarter 2 for this curriculum, but she loves everything else about it. So we continued what we did in quarter 1 by just adding in a Mel Chemistry subscription box for her to do the experiments through Mel Chemistry. And that's working. She's loving it. Science is still good. No changes for her in the future. So now, her little extracurriculars, we decided we were going to focus on growth mindset for her this year, and this is still going great. She's still doing a really great job with this. It's something that she's kept up with over the holiday season, which for us, holiday season, we usually tend to start cutting out the extras and just focusing on the bare bones of school, especially in December. But this year, that didn't quite happen with Bella because she had more independence and more control over her studies. It was far more successful. She had to map out and plan these things and when she was going to get them done, and she did a beautiful job. So none of this stuff really got cut out for her. This, again, she still loves it. It's like a little growth mindset journal. Not much more I could say. She loves it. Now, for her Chef Academy that she was doing, she still says it's very basic. She still does this once a week, and she's still enjoying it, but she says it's just like an average okay. Like, she likes it, but she doesn't really have anything else to say about it. So it is very basic. I am glad that I gave this to her as like an extracurricular, because it is pointing out a lot of kitchen basics. And I feel like that's a good skill to have. Just knowing the basics and then work your way up is a good skill. So again, not much more I could say about this one either. It was average for her. Now, the last thing that she did independently is The Stargazer's Guide to the Night Sky. This is from Master Books. Same as quarter one. In quarter two, she still loves it. She did say some of the concepts are still kind of hard for her to grasp, but she will reread the passages, and she will look things up when needed and kind of find those answers herself, and loves it still. So she really enjoys this. She's learning a lot, and there's no changes for this either. And do keep in mind that this is another like science lesson that she's doing on top of her regular science. So she does have a little bit more of a hefty day. I guess you can say it's a little bit larger day. So she doesn't want to cut it out, because I did give her the option to where if she felt like she wasn't gaining anything from it, to cut it. And she said, no, Mom, I want to keep doing it. I'm halfway through and I'm enjoying it. So there's that. Now, Bella is still working on her piano skills and learning how to play the piano through Hoffman Academy, and that's still going great. And also, when it comes to her independent reading, I did do a video about my 8th graders, like, independent reading choices for the school year. Well, remember when I said that my youngest daughter is usually the one that kind of just reads whatever she wants and she ignores my... Yeah, this year it was Bella. Bella went rogue. So Bella, she's still reading a good amount of books and stuff like that, but she's only read a couple off of the books that I assigned to her. And like I told her, if she finds books that she wants to read in place of the books that I assigned, she just needs to talk to me first. And that's what she did. And she has been reading different books than the books that I assigned for her. But she did, like I said, she read a couple of them and then was like, I don't want to read these. And right now, she's currently reading The School for Good and Evil, I think is what it's called. I'll put a picture so you know what I'm talking about. But she just started book 1 and she's loving that book. So I have a feeling she's going to be stuck in that series for a while, and I'm not going to push her into reading the books that I assigned for her. So yeah, so overall for second quarter, I keep on saying semester. If I keep on saying semester, no, I mean quarter. For second quarter, Bella overall did really well. It was a win, and I could tell growth, a lot of growth in Bella in the different subjects. So I'm really excited about that. But let's talk about my younger daughter, and then we'll go into our together subjects. But my youngest daughter, Lydia, who's in the 5th grade, she for a long time was struggling with reading. So our focus was reading. We didn't focus on a lot of writing. We didn't focus on a lot of spelling. And she's in the 5th grade. Okay, but I kind of feel like I don't want to overwhelm her. She does get overwhelmed pretty easily. And that's okay. You know, we all adjust to things differently. But with homeschooling, I think one of the hardest concepts is trying to calm down about things. Like, are we doing enough? Am I messing my kids up? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? It took me a few years, honestly, a few years to calm myself enough to allow myself to really focus on reading with Lydia and just kind of let the other stuff catch up when she can. And honestly, that was such a blessing, because now Lydia's reading is phenomenal. She is at grade level now. Well, grade level, you know, homeschool grades are all over the place. But she finally has a good understanding of reading. And I just wanted to let you know that when you see some of the changes that I made for quarter 3. Yeah, so let's just start before I keep chatting. But for math, we're still using Simply Good and Beautiful Math 5. This has been phenomenal for her. This is working amazing. We love it. I mean, I don't even see me switching her next year to a different type of math. I think we'll just move into math 6, but you know, we'll see. Things change all the time, but she is loving this. I love that there's the video with it, and then she has like a practice section, and then she has, you know, what is it called? It's like a mini lesson and, you know, review. And I really like the way that this one is set up. So this is working really well for her. We're not going to change anything. And in second semester, I feel like the concepts were starting to get harder for her, which is good, because before she was just breezing through everything and there was no challenge. But now in second quarter, it really started to slow her down just a little bit. And that's kind of what I was looking for, because she needed somewhere that she could get challenged, if that makes sense. So this finally got to that point for her, and I love the setup, and it's just great. Now, for language arts for Lydia, she is using Language Arts and Literature Level 4 through The Good and the Beautiful, and this does come with a spelling and writing workshop. This is still going great. This book is all falling apart, but this book is going great for her. She's enjoying it. You know, she likes the setup of this language art, so we're going to continue this. Now, when it comes to the spelling and writing workshop, we had to make a lot of changes in quarter 2. The writing aspect of this was fine for her, in little bite-sized pieces and chunks, but the spelling was just too much. It was just too much for her. So we decided to take a step back from their spelling, and I introduced Spelling Plus to her. Now, we're not using this book the way that it's intended. I'm just using the list in the back. So if you look at this book, there's a whole bunch of lists in the back, and I'm just pulling 10 words for her every week, but we are still using the concepts and games, but with these words. So we're still kind of doing it The Good and the Beautiful style, but with just our own words, because the words in here were just too hard for her. For now, she'll get there. I know she will. But so we just kind of combined the two spelling programs, and it's actually really working for her now. So we're going to continue to use these together in quarter 3. Now, to also go with trying to get her to do more writing, it's not that this writing wasn't enough, but she wants something like a little more fun, if that makes sense. So I picked this Silly Starters Write-Abouts. It says that it's for grades 1 through 3, but I honestly will use this with my older daughter too. All it is, it's like this little flip book thing, and there's 3 different sections, and then you could flip the different sections to give you a writing topic. So for this one, it says, write what it is like to live with a computer that is afraid of kids. So it's just, you create silly writings using this. And I thought that this would be a lot more fun than me trying to come up with things for her to write about. And she isn't, it's not that she's not willing to write stories on her own, but sometimes knowing what she wants to write about can be challenging. So I thought if she's able to get some hands-on, you know, flipping this and figuring out a story maybe each morning. I still don't know how I'm going to incorporate this, at least how many times a week. I might do this maybe in like a morning basket or something with my girls. I'm not sure, but we are planning on using this. Again, I just think that this will be a lot of fun. They could create, you know, little silly journals with their writings. And I just think it'll be more fun than me just saying, hey, write about, you know, a hot air balloon. This gives, you know, it just makes it fun. There, that's what I'm trying to say. It just makes it fun. So another part of her language arts is her handwriting. She was hit and miss during second semester. I keep on saying semester. She was hit and miss during second quarter. She did handwriting. She didn't do handwriting. She did handwriting. She didn't do handwriting. So for quarter 3, I decided I'm going to try and focus a little bit more, because Lydia does need a little bit more practice with her handwriting. She is a lefty, and for some reason, I'm having a hard time teaching her like pencil grip and things like that. So I'm right-handed, so maybe that's why. But I picked up this handwriting practice made fun joke book. So all she's doing is she's getting handwriting practice by copying down different jokes. I thought that this was a fun idea. Lydia really likes it. When I introduced this later in quarter 2, she started to do handwriting a lot more. So, and then we get to hear her tell us the jokes and stuff like that. So this was a huge win. Again, we started it kind of later in the quarter, but we are going to continue to do this in quarter 3. Now, this one. You're probably tired of me saying that I'm a failure when it comes to typing 1, but guess what? I'm still a failure. When it comes to typing 1, again, there's nothing wrong with this program. My oldest daughter did this program, all 3 levels, loved it, great typer, phenomenal. We just aren't making time for it. And in quarter 2, we still just didn't make time for it. We did 1 lesson again, and that was it, and we were done. I think part of it was the holidays. We started to push things aside, and this is one of the things that got pushed for her. So this, I think I'm just throwing it out the window, and I'm going to try again next year. So I don't think I want to put pressure into 3rd quarter or even 4th quarter this year on typing. I think I want to focus on writing with her, and so I'm okay with putting this aside until next year. Now, when it comes to Lydia's independent reading, I did do a video on that one as well for my 5th graders independent reading, and I focused on, what are they called? Book series. And one of the series that I picked out for her was, I think it's called The Rise of the Guardians. And she read the first 3 books and loved them. But she likes to read her books with the audiobook playing, and they only had the first 3 books on Audible. So I was pretty bummed when we couldn't find the next book. So she decided she wanted to read the Little House series. And at first she was really hesitant. Like a long time ago, I read her Little House in the Big Woods and Little House on the Prairie, and she was like okay with it. But when she started reading these independently now at 10, and she listens to the audiobooks at the same time, she's already on book 5. So she's on book 5 by the Shores of Silver Lake, and she is really enjoying the Little House series, and I'm so happy she is. I remember a couple of years ago, we did an entire pioneer weekend where we spent the entire weekend dressed like pioneers, baking, cooking, washing clothes, all like, back in those times. And so it was just, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy that she's enjoying this. But again, she's on book 5, and she actually stuck to what I assigned for her reading. She's usually the one that doesn't do that. So I was just super surprised at the, personality switch, I guess you can say, our Freaky Friday moment of my kids, swapping roles when it comes to their assigned reading. So this is a huge success. Her independent reading has been going really great. Now for history, she's still using the Good and Beautiful History Year 1. If you watched my quarter 1 update that we were using Beautiful Feet, and then at the end of quarter 1, going into quarter 2, she switched to the Good and the Beautiful History Year 1. Now, let me just say, I was a little worried that we weren't going to be able to make it through this entire book because we started this late. And so I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. We've already done all 4 of the Good and the Beautiful histories, but Lydia was in kindergarten when she went through History Year 1. So I was just worried that she might miss out on a few things. So I actually, in 2nd quarter, upped the amount of time that we were doing history. And we were doing history 3, sometimes 4 days a week. And honestly, it was fine. She was fine with it. She liked it. And we are completely, I don't want to say caught up, but we are where we need to be to finish this book out by the end of the year by only doing 2 lessons a week now. So we, at the end of 2nd quarter, we were to that point where we were halfway through this book, exactly where I would have been if I didn't do a different curriculum at the beginning of the year. And now she only has to do 2 lessons a week for the rest of the year. And it's still going great for us. I am adding in like the who was, what was, where is books to go with this. And I am reading different read out louds to her opposed to the ones that were assigned to go with this book. So, I did make some changes, but it's working great. And we're going to continue to use this. Now for science, we focused on Paleontology for Lydia. This was one of my favorite units that the Good and the Beautiful released. So this is the Good and Beautiful's Paleontology unit study for grades 3 through 8. And it's one of the newer ones that comes spiral bound, and it has like the student journal. This one was so much fun. I can't remember how many lessons were in here. There are 11 lessons. We do science only twice a week. We did this during second quarter and it was so much fun. I did add in stuff here and there. Not that it was needed, because this book or this unit, it has like videos that go with it. You could do lesson extensions for older kids. There's a book pack that you can get to go with this. So you kind of, you know, you could do add-ons with this through the Good and the Beautiful. But I decided to add in some of our own stuff. I have a video on it. I'll link it in the description box. But we took our time with this, and Lydia loved this so much. It was one of her favorite units, this and reptiles and amphibians. But this one was so much fun. And I was learning right alongside with her. I had no idea that a pterodactyl was not a dinosaur. My entire life, I feel, is a lie. It's like the Pluto thing all over again. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I always thought that a pterodactyl was a dinosaur. No, it's not. But anyway, I mean, closely related, but not. So I didn't know that. So I was learning right alongside her with this unit study, and it was just so much fun. So we did finish this up at the beginning of December, and so quarter 2 wasn't done yet. And I decided that I wasn't going to start another unit study until after the new year, and we came back from winter break. But my daughter was kind of voicing the fact that she wanted to still do some kind of science. And although she didn't need like a huge unit study or anything like that, she said that she just wanted to talk about goats. So yes, goats, like the animal goats. So I picked up this book. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Raising Goats. I also picked up another book. I don't know where I put it. I think it's like a kid's guide to goats or something like that. I'll see if I can insert a picture. All we did was read through and learn about raising goats and taking care of goats and different goat breeds and the purposes that goats can, serve, when it comes to, their hair, their meat, their milk. It was just a lot of fun, and it was so simple. It was literally reading a little bit of a book twice a week, and she just loved it. So during the month of December, for science, that's all we did. We read about goats, and it was so much fun. So now that we are all done with those for second quarter, in third quarter, we are going to be moving into a new Good and the Beautiful unit study. She said, I honestly wasn't going to do this one. I just didn't think I didn't think it was going to be what she wanted to do. But she actually said, no, Mom, I want to do this one. So in third quarter, we're going to be starting Motion and Simple Machines. Again, this is a 3 through 8 science unit study. And it does come with the student journal. So this one I think had 12 lessons. Yeah, this has 12 lessons. Again, we're going to be taking this pretty slowly. I might add in a few more things. I'm not sure. I kind of want to start off the new quarter after winter break kind of slowly. So I don't know how much I'll add to this, but this is what we're going to be stepping into. This is the new science for her. It looks like fun. We'll see. We'll see. But if we finish this one in pretty quickly in third quarter, and we still have a little time, I will go straight into a new unit study. So if we finish this up and we still have time in quarter 3, we're going to be moving into health in the physical body. Now, I do want to focus on the human body this year with her because I feel like it's been a while since we focused on that and she was quite a bit younger. So I do know that the Good and the Beautiful is supposed to be coming out with like another, I think it's like health in the mind, or I can't remember what it's called, but they're supposed to be coming out with another one of these this year. And I thought that doing this one first and then jumping into the new one would be a great way to end out the year. So if we have time in quarter 3, we will start this one. And I'm really liking the update on this one so far. I like that they have the journals and stuff. So now the last couple things for Lydia. Ooh, I gotta hurry up. The last couple of things for Lydia, I have her still working on the recorder. So for her instrument, she is working on learning how to play the recorder, and she is using the 9-note recorder method. This for second quarter was hit and miss. Like she used it sometimes and then she didn't, and then she used it again and then she didn't. So this, I guess, was like mildly successful. I feel like she is still learning how to play. And I'm okay with her taking time with this book, but it kind of fell off during the Christmas season. And she started picking it up towards the end of second quarter again. And we're going to try and continue this into third quarter because I do want her to focus on some kind of musical aspect for her homeschool or for her school day. So she's still going to work through this. We didn't pick it up as much as I thought we would. So the last thing I wanted to share about Lydia specifically was the anxiety and relief book for kids that we had started at the beginning of the school year. This went fantastic in quarter one. We loved it. Guess what? Quarter two, not so great. It had nothing to do with the book itself. It, again, was one of those things that got pushed aside like typing, kind of like her 9-note recorder method. But even this, we did more than this. So I think we touched this book one time during second quarter. I don't think I'm going to reintroduce it in third quarter. I feel like at this point, it's starting to feel like busy work that we're just trying to get through, opposed to getting something from it. So again, it's not a bad book, and I really love the conversation starters from this, but it's starting to get to that point where it's like, okay, we have to do the anxiety relief book, and we're both like, ugh, you know? So I'm just going to move on from this. I'm going to scrap it, and it's done. So this has been removed in quarter two. Now, for their things together, I'm going to try and get through this pretty quickly because I'm looking at the little timer on my camera and it's taking me forever to do this. So I'm really sorry. I'll try and go faster. So now, during quarter two, we did some really great morning basket themes. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is farming and food. We did farming and food in November, and this is one of my favorite unit studies that we've ever done from Gather Round Homeschool. It was so much fun. We did this in November to kind of have like a Thanksgiving-y type of theme, talking about where food comes from. And it was just so much fun. We loved it. It's 20 lessons. We didn't do it in its entirety. We only read the lessons and had discussion. But they had like these sections in the lessons that were called the hot button. And that was our favorite part of the entire like lessons. Is the hot button was controversial topics about the style of farming. And these created so many fantastic conversations between the three of us. Because my kids did not agree on every single controversial topic throughout the farming industry, and it created really healthy disagreements. Nobody was screaming or fighting or arguing about it, but they were making valid points about different styles of farming, and it was just a really awesome moment. And as a mom, listening to my kids disagree calmly and kindly and in a healthy way was really nice. But this was one of my favorite unit studies that we've ever done through Gather Round. So now when it comes to Christmas schooling went great. We just worked through Gather Round Christmas. We've done this a couple of times. Loved it. Again, we just did the lessons. We didn't do any of the book work. And then our favorite thing that we used in quarter two for Christmas schooling was Christmas is Coming, Traditions from Around the World. We love this book. This is probably going to be something I add in every year now, but it was just phenomenal. We loved learning about the different customs and traditions from all over the world. It was just a lot of fun, a huge win, and I'm so glad. I feel like this was part of the reason that quarter two was so successful during December, because it was so much fun every day learning about a different custom or tradition, and we did get through the entire book. So this was a lot of fun. Now, when it came to Studies Weekly Wellbeing, this is something that we stopped doing as well. Like we did it like twice during quarter two, and then we just stopped doing it. Again, there was nothing wrong with it. It was more time. So I love the conversations that we were having when I was using these, but I don't think I'm even going to go back to them in quarter three, only because I feel like it's like a time crunch at this point. Maybe I'll reintroduce them next year. I don't know, but we're done with these for this year. Okay, for poetry, we did work through A Child's Introduction to Poetry during quarter two. We liked it. It was basic. But for quarter three, we are just going to be using this Read Aloud Poems for Young People, an Introduction to the Magic and Excitement of Poetry. So instead of trying to study like different styles and how to write different styles, I'm just going to read poetry to them every Friday from this book. I did like the poets that were chosen for this book. So it has like Maya Angelou, Lewis Carroll, Emily Dickinson, Robert Frost. I mean, a lot of well-known poets, and even poets that we studied last year. So I just think this will be a great refresher, and it's something light and easy instead of trying to add even more to our Fridays. I'm just gonna read a few poems. Now for art, we did work through this whole book. We finished it up during second quarter. 13 art movements children should know. We started this book with only doing one movement like a month. And then I was running out of ideas for art, so we started going through all of them much more quickly. So we did work through this entire book. It was fine. We liked it. I liked how basic it was and to the point, but we're done with it. So for art, I'm actually going to be doing this book. It's called The Story of Paintings, A History of Art for Children. Now, we did, when we did our Christmas schooling, we did this Usborne like nativity picture book, and it was all about like the art from the nativity. We loved the way that all of that was presented and how it kind of focused on the nativity, like one like topic, but all the different, I don't know how to explain, like all the different styles that people, that artists created from this one, you know, idea. But anyway, so we really liked that. So I decided to go with The Story of Paintings, A History of Art for Children, because it's kind of set up in that same way. So this book is supposed to give you like a brief background of the artist, but then also go over the meaning of the painting that you're studying. So I thought that that would be a lot of fun. It's really straight to the point. So if you look, you have a little bit of information and the painting. This is what I need right now. I need simple. I need simple for our homeschool when it comes to art. I just don't have it in me to put much more into it. So I think that this is going to be perfect for us. Now, when it came to music, we finished up A Child's Introduction to the Orchestra in quarter 2. I like this book. It's very basic. It gives you things to build off of. We read some biographies of composers to go with this. It was great. But now that we're done, I'm calling quits to composer study for the rest of the year. I decided that I'm not going to put that pressure on me anymore. At least for this school year, it just feels like too much. Our lives are getting really busy, and we've been studying composers for 9 years. So I think we could take a break. That was what I originally intended for this school year, is to just not do a composer study, but then I felt guilty. And if you're a homeschooling mom or dad, you probably know that that guilt of I'm not doing enough. Well, you know what? Now I'm really not going to do it, because now it's just becoming more of a burden, I feel, and it's more of something that's becoming a challenge for us, and it's not enjoyable when we're all feeling burnt out on it. So we will pick up composer study probably next year, but we're done for composer study for this year. But this was a great book to finish out composer study and music study. But again, my kids are still playing an instrument, so it's not like they're not getting any kind of music for the school year, but composer study's done. The last thing I have for you finally is Getting Started with French, Beginning French for Homeschoolers and Self-Taught Students of Any Age. This book is extremely basic. It actually was recommended by one of you viewers, so thank you so much. I love hearing what you guys are using as well, because sometimes I'm like, that sounds amazing. I want to use it too. So this is very basic, very beginner, like the beginning of learning French, and I love this. This is something that I'm using in our morning basket. We started this out in December in quarter 2, and it's been a huge hit. I am using this with both of my girls, and we're going to continue to use it into quarter 3. So that is my quarter 2 update, everything that kind of changed from quarter 2 and what we're going to be using into quarter 3. Let me know how your homeschool is going. I would love to hear, happy, sad, tears, all of it. I've been through all of those as well during this homeschool journey. So please, if you have any recommendations on anything, especially writing, leave it in the comments section. I'd love to hear about those as well. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.